Sure. Okay, I think that Luffy beats Blackbeard. My premise.
Okay, well, I guess my premise is that Blackbeard beats Luffy. I guess
Okay.
that's my position.
Wait, do you
It's
want to
not really
limit?
my premise. But
Okay, do you want to limit this to like 30 minutes or something? Because I don't have much time.
just let me know like 10 minutes in advance when you have to leave, and then I'll try to like wrap it up real quick.
Okay.
All right. You want me to start or?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, so like you're aware of like the Blackbeard statements where it says like his gravity sucks in any and all matter, and that it also has like infinite gravitational pull, and then Blackbeard in the manga also states that like he has infinite gravitational pull.
Can you send those?
Okay, give me a second. If anybody's aware of like where he says it against Ace, he says like I'll pull you in with my infinite gravity, and then I'll get the manga where it says that.
Okay, to be clear, are you using this as a conditional to prove that your character's above?
It's just like one of the scaling. It's not conditional, but it's just more so like this is like APN like scaling for like if he has any speed to scale to Luffy, then this is like the thing that he's gonna use to win the fight.
Okay, wait. So then, when you say AP, are you trying to prove he has the AP to damage him, or just like to
Okay,
or like better AP? What are you trying to prove here?
I think he has necessary to damage him because like if he can produce infinite pressure and gravity, then he could just grab Luffy, eventually crush him. Like maybe he doesn't have to crush him.
Yeah, where's the correlation between those two?
Okay, so like gravity. Sorry, so because gravity exerts like pressure and force, you agree, right? It's like a pulling force. It's a gravitational force exerts energy upon its surroundings. If that's infinite and Luffy hasn't shown that like threshold of strength or scaling, then I think it would scale above, right? You agree?
Luffy not showing it. I don't see how he's not at that level. Is that just an argument from ignorance?
Not necessarily.
So then, what's the argument?
Not necessarily true that I guess like I understand like it's not necessarily true that if he
wait.
Infinite terms of sorry.
Yeah, okay, but do you think arguments from ignorance?
But we're like going. Wait, sorry. I just wanted to explain. It's not necessarily true that like, yeah, sorry. It's not necessarily true. Obviously, that if we show it, he doesn't have to scale it or he can't to it. But we're gonna go over the scaling. Like, I'm just explaining to you how like the tracks because you asked like, how are you gonna like make this argument or what is this argument contingent upon? And I explained what this argument is contingent upon and why this argument falls.
Yeah. Okay.
We can go with like the nitty gritty details of where I think Luffy scales it. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Show Luffy then.
Okay, I just connected to Luffy. So like Blackbeard, you can just like talk about Luffy's power. So like Luffy's power, like in the data books where it says like, for example, he goes from being, for example, he goes from like seeing somebody doing like a giant iceberg and thinking that's impressive to training a lot and then being able to fight animals and then he eventually trains strong enough to like beat those with like an amplifier and all these things. The problem is like all of these like statements and all the indicators within the series where Luffy like goes up from one level to another is like it's pretty much a finite increase. And pretty much like we have a consistency within the story. Every single power up Luffy gets, it's a finite increase. Even like the advanced conquerors thing is stated to be a finite increase. It increases his power exponentially. That's a finite increase. It's a finite quantification. The same thing with like Gear 5. It's stated to increase the power of his rubber body exponentially. That's like a finite increase. It's like a finite thing. So I think that it's expected that if Luffy starts off with like a certain... No, let me just finish my
okay.
It's expected that if Luffy starts off with like a finite level of strength and it increases by finite amounts, then it's like irrational to say he's going to randomly jump to an level indicator, any statements, any like rationale. So yeah, that's like
no. I understand your point, and I may be
that's
willing
if
to
like it's accepted that Blackbeard is infinite.
Yeah. Obviously, you have to send the scans for that. I also want you to show me the consistency as well, but I might be willing to grant this just depending on what I see because that one's too relevant. Yeah.
Obviously, it's still the speed of Blackbeard.
Yeah. Zkiller, one thing I want to ask you though is if it is the case that he can produce like infinite gravitational force, that's a claim, right? I want to make sure that I'm clear.
Yeah.
Okay, infinite gravitational force. Okay, well then how do you think like the surroundings aren't just completely destroyed by his infinite gravitational force?
Well, in most of his showings, he has incentive to not use this force. So you can tell me
Huh?
whatever showing.
Okay, yeah. Hold up. So
Most of his
what
showings,
about?
he has incentive to not use this force. So you
Yeah.
can
Okay.
tell me
So what
whatever
about?
showing.
Yeah. Well, what about against Ace, who's clearly like struggling against you? Think he has incentive not to try there?
Well, if we're following the presupposition that Ace doesn't scale to his full power, then he wouldn't want to kill Ace. And like using his, infinite AP is gonna atomize him.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. So do you think that it's rational not to go all out if you're repeatedly struggling? Because presumably you'd be incentivized to using more effort, and then it'd be literally insane to use more effort over and over and over again. And then if you're still failing at accomplishing your goal, that consistency, any rational person would go all out.
It's only irrational, or sorry, it's only rational if like your incentives are to simply win the fight. But Blackbeard doesn't only want to win the fight, but he wants to also capture. So if he can find a way that is sufficient where he can use a level of power that he can win the fight, even if he has to struggle a little bit and not kill Ace, I think that he would go with that conclusion rather than
Yeah.
win
Okay.
there.
Wait. Do you think that him winning the fight is incompatible with text?
If he has to kill Ace, then wait, sorry, what? No, yeah, obviously he can win the fight and capture Ace, but I'm saying the method to go in order to do that would probably not be something that would be lethal to Ace, right? Because what you're saying is he has an incentive to use his full power, because he doesn't want it to be like he doesn't want to lose the fight, or doesn't want to be in a disadvantageous position with the fight. I'm already telling you that if he wants to capture Ace, then he could tank being in a disadvantageous situation for the added benefit of capturing Ace.
Okay. Wait. So if he isn't trying to like kill Ace or whatever, why do we see him like? I'm pretty sure doesn't he punch him and crack his ribs and shit like that? He's not trying to
I'm
use
not. Oh,
lethal force, according to you.
I mean, I don't. I think like that's not lethal force. Ace pretty much not only did Ace recover from the entire fight, but that attack specifically he covered like pretty immediately. He got up immediately.
Wait,
So
can you show
I
me
think
that?
it's far from lethal.
Wait, I grant that he recovered
I can
immediately. I
show
don't think
you.
that's too relevant. Or no, not immediately, but eventually he did recover. But just show me him recovering immediately.
It's not immediate in the sense like it's as soon as it happened, but it's like a few panels after.
Okay.
It's like two panels. Two panels past and Ace is already on his feet. So I think that's an indicator it wasn't lethal damage, right? You still want me to send it?
Yeah, send it.
Okay, give me a second. I gotta find like a while, bro. Give me a second. I gotta find like a few things.
Oh yeah, no. Speaking of,
What?
I mean, what? Do you mind if I give a point, or you want to like just send the scans first?
No, you can give a point. I'll be tracking. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say that he can immediately recover from like broken bones or whatever. Do you think that fucking what's his name is gonna expect that Ace or not Ace? Fucking Blackbeard's gonna expect that. It's like what Lucas said in chat, pretty much.
It could be the case that like Blackbeard doesn't have an accurate gauge. I think that he gauges with Ace. He was on the same ship with Ace, like literally, like he sailed the same
Okay.
ship.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. How does that prove he knows like his level of durability though?
Wait, just relax.
Okay.
Well, I just think it's expected that if you're on the same ship and you're watching this person fight continuously and you can sense the power of these people because obviously he has observation hockey, then it makes sense that he would know what like the ballpark of what Ace can endure. For example, Whitebeard clashes with Ace 100 times, literally 100 times in like short succession, like day after day. And then Ace is like continuously taking damage in those fights, and Blackbeard can sense the power output that Whitebeard is using in those fights. And it's also expected if Ace goes into any other fight against any other pirate and Blackbeard is on the same ship, he would likely be in those same skirmishes. Those people are using against Ace, unless it's like a
Okay. Hold up. Can you show me? Yes, and Whitebeard as well.
Jesus, brother! Like, do you know nothing of Piece? Like, you put in so many like scans, I guess.
Okay, wait. I'll just wait till you send your scans then.
Because at this point, yeah, like at this point,
Oh no,
Let me
yeah,
see.
Westbound. I think this is part 5, bro. We've debated like 10 times. Like, and he's debated Gyro 10 times too.
I definitely debated Gyro more than I debated you.
Yeah, no, you debated him like 15 times or something, bro. No.
It used to be a daily occurrence.
Daily, why, bro?
I mean, he wanted to get better, and I was the best person in Hachinoso at the time. I guess Apt, you could argue Apt was better than me, but oh, okay, wait, sorry. So the statement more so goes like Blackbeard has the ability to crush everything. I thought the statement more so went like Blackbeard has the ability like our strength like infinite like or something like that because I remember him saying that in the manga. But like no, the statement more so just goes like he can attract and crush everything and reduce it to nothingness. So I don't know where you think that would scale him if that's like uni AP or whatever, but seems pretty definitive. And then like I'll get you the other scan of like the 100 fights thing for Ace.
Okay. I mean, I think that regardless of what the scan says, the same contention can apply to it.
Yeah, like obvious, like if he didn't use this against Ace, like why isn't Ace dying, or you know, what I mean, like why isn't there environmental stuff, right?
Yeah, and then
yeah. Do you accept Ace novel to be canon?
Ace novel, yeah. Just
okay. Let me just find the 100 fights in the novel. 100 fights.
Okay, and then Blackbeard was present for those fights.
Every single time he fought Whitebeard, it was like outside of his ship or something like that. It was like they like docked at like a nearby island, and then he just fought him, and everybody on the crew could watch the fight. I guess you could like call that Blackbeard, but just happened to not be watching the most entertaining thing that everybody else is watching. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. I don't think you're gonna make that argument.
I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna make that argument, but then the level of power that Whitebeard is outputting against Ace is kind of questionable, at least to me.
I mean, I agree. I don't think it's a full power Whitebeard. I don't know if you think I'm trying to scale.
Okay, yeah. So then, why do you think this gives him like a good? Power, yeah, no. But why do you think this gives Blackbeard his durability then? If it's not a full power Whitebeard.
Because we're not trying to gauge Whitebeard's, we're trying to gauge like Ace's durability. I think that he.
Oh yeah, no.
Sorry, I'm not going off the basis.
Hold up. Can I clarify something? Sorry. All right, so but you would be gauging his durability off of Whitebeard's power. If Whitebeard's power isn't at full power, then what quantification do we have for his power?
So I don't think Blackbeard. I'm not gauging it, but I don't think Blackbeard would be gauging it off of Whitebeard's full power. What I said specifically was that he can watch the fight, see Ace taking damage, and then sense the hockey via like observation hockey, which we just know is like something people have in the verse One Piece. And people even use like consistently, even when they're not on guard and when they're sleeping and stuff. But we can talk about that later. Just specifically, he has access. Yeah, but just specifically, he has access to, like an ability that can allow him to know exactly how strong what Whitebeard is doing to Ace, as well as the fact that I think that he has prior engagement with Ace like before that feat where he almost breaks his neck. So I think he would know how much force Ace can endure.
Okay, wait. So firstly, is the prior engaged? Wait, no. Let me just write this down first.
Yeah, go on.
Prior. Yeah, okay, so what I want to say is the prior engagement related to durability, and then for the hockey sensing, do you think that hockey allows you to sense like every physical attribute that somebody has?
They don't really like distinguish. For hockey, it just says you can sense somebody's strength, then they just use it as like a universal gauge of strength. Like every single time somebody has really strong hockey, they say, "Oh, really strong person is here. Like, a really strong thing is happening," and people are really strong. They have really strong hockey. So
yeah, no.
They can only It could be the case that they can only sense like certain attributes of somebody. Versus take this sufficient basis, like make it broad assertions about people's strengths. So I think Blackbeard would take it as sufficient.
Oh yeah. I understand that, but this could just refer to like the overall average of their strength. rather than anything indexed to specific attributes. So, I don't think this gives you a gauge of their like durability, because it could be the case to have a high strength average while having weak
Well,
durability.
if he could just sense their durability, then we wouldn't be going through this. Like, I'm not saying he can be able to like sense his durability. What I'm saying is that like, by sensing
No, but
the
wait,
strength of
Zkiller. Dude, what I'm telling you is that you can have a high strength overall or a high strength average without having good durability. So that's why I'm asking you if it refers to being able to sense durability or not.
I agree. You can have a high strength average without being able to sense durability. What I'm pausing is not that he can sense the durability or he can sense the strength and go like gauge the durability off of the strength. What I'm saying is that he can sense the strength that Whitebeard is using in the strikes against Ace, and then by knowing how strong the strikes are against Ace, again, this has nothing to do with Whitebeard's durability. He'll know how durable roughly Ace is, and then also this is the prior engagement before like Ace makes the claim that he broke.
Okay.
He basically like suplexes like Ace like with his fucking arm. He doesn't even use his Delphi in this panel. He just suplexes.
Okay.
Ace
Wait. I just want to make
ever
something
imply
clear
this
about the
to-
first point.
Go ahead.
For the first point, about his strength, I think that just comes back to the question. The reason why is because I can grant that you're doing it off Whitebeard's strength and not his durability. That's not the contention. The point of contention is the level of strength that Whitebeard is outputting. Because if it's not at his full level, then how strong do we know the attack actually is? That's like you're using the attack in your argument. Remember that.
Yeah, I think I responded to that, but yeah. So this is like
okay.
the prior
if you think
engagement
you're
I was talking about. Do you want to talk about it? Because he asked me like, is the
yeah,
prior
well, we can
engagement
talk about that. If you think you
30
responded to the previous thing, then that's fine. Just
yeah, I think I responded to that. But go ahead. Yeah. Assuming that didn't go through, like we're gonna rely on this piece of evidence now. Go ahead.
all right.
You can
Okay.
in general, do you want me to send it in scans?
Yeah, just send it in scans. Wait, is it where like he punches Ace?
I don't think he ever punches Ace.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just show me the prior engagement then.
So,
is it what you said in general or something different?
Yeah, it's what I said in general. I don't know which like chat I said previous scan that I was
wait.
about.
Is this not the same instance?
Oh
where,
wait,
like,
look at a. Sorry, go ahead.
Is this not the same instance where Ace has issues with his bones and shit? Or
no, this isn't. I can send you the instance where Ace has issues with his bones.
Yeah. Okay, send me that.
Okay, give me a second. Like this is the by the way, I sent every single scan in general. So like the infinite or sorry, the everything to nothingness scan I sent. I think you already saw that. And then like the scans that we're telling right now, I sent. Any other scan you want me to send? Do you want me to send anything else? I think the only things that are relevant to what we're talking about right now.
Oh no. Okay, so this is the initial instance, right?
No, that's the second instance. That the initial instance, the one that I sent prior, which is like him suplexing Ace.
Where he punches them. Okay, can you show me like the order of it?
Give me a second. The chapter is 441. Do you want me to share my screen, or are you gonna go and read it?
I'll just look at the chapter. Hold up.
I'm not lying to you. Like this is something easily verifiable. Like, yeah, he.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll just check the chapter. Hold up.
Okay.
I mean, I can probably just check it in Punk Records as well.
Yeah, like that's where I got it from. But it'd be simpler. I'm just gonna link it in chat, and then you can go and read it yourself.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Okay, and just to be clear, when we're talking about durability, we're not just referring to like your physical durability. We're also referring to like any means through hardness or density that allows you to withstand attack. So that'd be inclusive of hockey, correct?
Any means that would allow you to. Sorry, yeah. Can you word that better? I don't really.
Hold up. No, I think the way that I worded it is kind of weird, but
Okay.
I'm sure that you would include like hockey under durability, right? Like you're just using armor and hockey to protect.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So did Ace expect hockey here? So he wouldn't have a full gauge in his durability.
I mean, Ace Blackbeard is the only person that knows. So I think it follows under the hypothesis that Blackbeard doesn't want to kill Ace. And if you think, right, because we still haven't established this, but if you think that Blackbeard potentially used a lethal level of force again later on, then he thinks that this indication would be sufficient to show him true durability. So I think it would follow that Ace probably used hockey or else.
Well, no. I do think it's lethal based on the area as well. I think I can add more credence to it. I don't on YouTube, but I'm going to do it anyway because I remember the panel now.
That's what I just said right now. Okay, so do you want me to repeat?
Oh, sorry. Wait. What do you think? Yeah, repeat it. What do you think I failed to respond to?
So, well, I don't know. I don't know if you planned on responding it. So I think the thing that's more relevant is that it follows under the hypothesis that Blackbeard wants to capture Ace alive and not kill him, that he would prefer to go through non-lethal means rather than lethal ones. And then obviously, it can be the case that Ace didn't use hockey in this panel. However, I think it follows with the hypothesis that Blackbeard doesn't want to kill Ace, that he probably did use hockey in this panel, because I don't think Blackbeard would be outputting a potentially lethal amount of force against a target that he wants to capture without knowing what that target can endure.
Wait.
Probably be the indication of what he can endure, and then Blackbeard proceeds to up level later on. Go ahead.
Wait, are you referring to Blackbeard using hockey there, or Ace using hockey? Because
Ace using hockey.
Okay, wait. So you think he probably did use hockey because he's not trying to kill Blackbeard? Is that what you're saying, or am I just mistracking?
I'll repeat it. Maybe I didn't say like.
Okay, yeah, just repeat it then, because I'm confused.
So, okay, so basically the that's like a hypothesis that is accepted is that Blackbeard doesn't want to kill Ace. He wants to capture him through non-lethal means, right? That's like something that's a stated motivation in the series, and the state afterwards, it's pretty obvious Blackbeard doesn't want to kill Ace. But later on, Blackbeard uses a potentially lethal amount of force against Ace, where he, in your opinion, he almost like kills him by neck, right? I'm saying that you go through the risk killing your target unless you knew what that target could endure. So I think that he would test his durability through non-lethal attacks, which is the prior attack. And I think it follows from that incentive and that line of reasoning that prior attack would be sufficient to tell Blackbeard how durable Ace is for the latter attack for him to be comfortable doing that lethal amount of force.
Yeah, okay, well, this is prior on the contingent on the prior point. The reason why this is contingent on the prior point is because the initial blow, it doesn't have to give him a full gauge of his ability. Like I said, unless Ace was using hockey, right? So, and you're trying to prove that Ace
I agree. It doesn't have
hockey,
to. I agree. It doesn't have to. The entire point builds likelihood to the fact that Ace is probably using hockey. If Blackbeard doesn't want to kill Ace, and like the entire line of logic that I gave, like follows, and it follows. Okay. Blackbeard. Right? It's like going against his incentives for him to do that. That I think that if we're going off of like just this prima facie, Ace did use hockey here to give Blackbeard access.
Oh,
to that
hold on.
Where he would then use like lethal force later on. Go ahead.
The problem is, I believe in this case we have overrating reason. The overrating reason that we have is the fact that Ace generally can't be touched, so he doesn't expect to be touched unless it's the case that he has knowledge in Blackbeard having hockey. Which that would be an additional assumption, clearly.
I don't know if that follows from my argument, but I don't think it's.
If you don't think it follows, we can just move on.
It's not really responsive to my argument, but we can talk about like whether or not like Ace is like with again, like I think Ace can generally not be touched, but as soon as Blackbeard touches him, because we do agree ends up hitting him, he would know that Blackbeard can touch him specifically. So I don't know if that's responsive, and I gave a reason for why, even if all of these things are true, like it's true. That Ace, it's true. Even if it's true that Ace didn't expect Blackbeard to have hockey, even if it's true, all of these things are true, then the hypothesis would still like add further explanatory power to the conclusion that Ace probably did use hockey here via the incentive.
Well, no. Zkiller, the problem is I understand that, but what I'm trying to index this to is only to the initial instance. I'm only questioning it in the initial instance.
I am talking about the initial instance, yes. Everything I said was in reference
to yeah, okay, but well, hold on. But the initial instance before he got hit, you realize your whole argument is contingent on him getting hit, right? Okay. What I'm saying. Do you want to move on?
You're not really listening. Ace is aware, so like the idea that Ace didn't expect Blackbeard to use hockey, therefore, or Blackbeard to use his Devil Fruit to negate his Devil Fruit, therefore he wouldn't be prepared in order to use hockey. He would just think that attack would come. I said this isn't necessarily true. Like you might be able to say that this can be true or it's possible, but I don't think that this is because.
Okay. I'll explain why it's likely.
Him, And then not just the touching him, not just the fact that he touched him before he hit him, but also the fact that like the incentive also adds credence to my my thesis, my theory.
Okay, wait, hold up. I think I already responded to the first part, but for the second part, what I'm going to say to this is, yeah, it's not necessary. I'm not making the claim deductive. That's completely fine. But what I am saying is that if you wait, hold up. I'll explain why it's probable because you agreed that generally attacks go through him. That gives him a big, like inductive rationale for him to just expect it to go. It would just be more rational based on pattern recognition skills.
Are you saying generally attacks go through him, for example, because he's in the East Blue and all the pirates in the East Blue are fodder?
Huh? Wait, is he in the?
Are you saying generally attacks go? This is happening on Banara Island. I'm pretty sure it's in the East Blue, but if it's not, then I don't care. But because that's like the thing I would expect. I would accept it under that like supposition. But if it's not like following that, then I wouldn't accept it because they're both New World pirates.
I mean, it can be through either.
Well, if the second thing is like the idea that obviously.
I mean, no, that's fine.
But if the second thing, sorry, if the second supposition is the idea that, sorry, go ahead. What were you about to say?
Yeah, no. I think you can very clearly just explain it by the fact that they are in the East Blue. But either way, I don't think it really matters. But yeah, I mean, for now, we can just explain it.
I don't think the East Blue is rational because Blackbeard is obviously not an East Blue pirate, and Ace knows this. So I don't think he would expect Blackbeard to follow the norms of East Blue pirates because Blackbeard isn't one. And then as for like the second thing, like, are you saying hockey isn't something to be expected in the New World, or what? What are you saying? Because every single statement about the New World implies that, like, for example, Rayleigh says you need to learn hockey if you want to survive in the New World. We see like random fodder that are literally not named, literally unnamed fodder in the New World have hockey. They literally have armament hockey, they have observation hockey, they have like all these forms of hockey. Obviously not Conqueror's hockey, that's more rare, but
well, Zkiller, I think it is expected, but the problem with that is hockey isn't a fully fleshed out concept at the time. So in Oda's head, I don't know if it is when he's writing this chapter.
Well, do you have reason to believe it's not? When you say it's not fully fleshed out, are you just saying it wasn't revealed to the like the reader? Because I don't think narratives you're interpret them linearly progressing. I think the author intends for you to interpret it as like all throughout. You go back and like connect the dots. Otherwise, you could just like arbitrarily assert at any point in time that Oda changed his mind like a prior thing because his narrative progressed and he just changed his mind and these things contradict each other and we're just going to assume that for no reason. So do you have a reason to believe Oda thought that? Do you have a reason to believe Oda thought that hockey at the time functioned differently than what he revealed, like literally not even 200 chapters later?
I mean, I think it's just depicted.
Wait, not even. Wait, sorry. Not 200. Sorry, I said not even 200 chapters later. I mean, like, not even 50 chapters later. Rayleigh ends up fighting Kizaru, and I think Oda would want to consider how people can beat these seemingly invincible pirates that are on the sea that are clearly not top tiers. I think Oda would want to include that in his thesis. So yeah, I don't think Oda didn't consider how you counter abilities with hockey. I don't think that's something Oda didn't consider. But even if we do like ignore everything, you agree that generally it's good to flow naturally, rather than saying that something can randomly be contradicted because a narrative like just changed its mind without any indication, right? Like that would make it so.
No. I'm fine with granting that, but Zkiller, what I want to say here is, wait, hold up. I gotta go. But wait, hold up.
Okay, you gotta go. Like you gotta go right now, or?
I got 10 minutes. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did you just repeat what you said? Because like my mom cut me off.
Okay, so I said like the narrative thing that like you wouldn't assume for no reason that a narrative doesn't follow like naturally with itself and it wouldn't contradict itself, because otherwise if you could just assume that with no reason or no basis and that's the thing that you're operating under, then I can just question everything you said off of the fact that it wasn't in the latest chapter One Piece, so Oda could have just mind, right? Obviously you'd want to assume that a narrative is coherent and it makes sense, and if there isn't any contradictions we wouldn't assume any unless we have reason to believe that it doesn't like follow and it isn't coherent. Then I can accept that human error can possibly like happen. And then also,
I know that.
The second thing I said to add likelihood to that is that Ace is just one of many Logias shown in the pre-time skip, like characters who are clearly not top tiers. And I think Oda would want to consider in his mind, like not necessarily in those moments, but how he's going to reveal later how you beat these people and like why these people aren't just the strongest in the verse because they're seemingly invincible. They literally like just you can't hurt them. So I think Oda would want to consider like the counter to those people. Like somebody like Ace and Smoker counteract each other because they're both Logias, but does Oda operate under the assumption that Shanks would just fucking lose to Ace in chapter 200? Like I don't think Oda is considering that because he's portraying Shanks as much stronger than Ace. You would agree with that. As a Yonko, he would be much stronger than Ace. So I just don't think that like at this point in time, Oda is considering that Logias are invincible, and then later on he found out a way to make them not invincible. That doesn't make sense.
Okay, wait, Zkiller, does he not just say that or does Ace not just say that he's not used to getting hit? Or no, Blackbeard says that about Ace, doesn't he? So I think that would be like serving as an overriding. And...
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Saying that. Go ahead.
Okay, wait. Let me look for it, bro. Put up.
But does that contradict it being expected in the New World?
I mean, no, not necessarily, but even if it doesn't contradict it,
just hold
up. Let me finish. Let me finish. But that would tell us something about instances. As like he might just be a rare case to where he doesn't experience much people with hockey, which that's a rating reason for it.
Well, no, I don't think that the people and those people that you fight in the New World don't typically have hockey. I think that like the implication is that amongst the people you fought, either they couldn't tag you or you simply haven't fought enough in order to get used to getting hit. You just like you don't get.
Well, he's one of the main commanders.
I think he's making an argument. Well, I don't think that means anything because the Yonkos.
Wait, hold up. We can argue about this after I get the scan. Hold up.
Okay, go ahead. Get the scan. But I think he's just talking about the time frame. Like, I think he's just saying it's been a while since you got hit like properly.
Yeah, it being a while, that still adds credence for his recent experiences. I can use consistency from his recent experiences, but repeat the prior.
Well, I don't think so because I think it being a while before, for example, right, like somebody having a long time before he got into a UFC match, let's say like 2 years in between their matches, they're gonna lose or at least like the mental fortitude to be able to take a hit and continue fighting, or at least it's not going to be as good like as when he was actively fighting because it's been so long since he's gotten hit. That sensation is going to be foreign to them. So it's not necessarily that they don't expect that if they get into a UFC ring and they get punched in the face, they're not going to get hurt. It's that they're not used to the sensation of pain and they're not getting hurt because it's been so long. Like it's been like. In Ace's case, we don't know how long it's been since he's fought anybody competent. I guess we can say it.
Okay, so you think it's more of the case that that he's not used to it rather than like he doesn't expect it?
Yeah, I think it's probably that. If you're going to use that statement alone, then yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and then what's the indication
the other thing I said
competent in a while? Yeah,
the other thing I said, like you said, well, it's not. I'm not necessarily asserting it to be true. I'm just giving an interpretation of that. Like for the other thing you said, like you said, oh, why is it expected that a Yonko commander wouldn't like be fighting people actively? Well, unless like in Kaido's case, I would expect like his commanders to be fighting a very aggressive person that wants to like start a war. He wants to like destroy the world. Whitebeard's intention is just to live like on the seas with his family and protect.
Okay, but didn't you say something else when I was trying to understand though?
I don't.
Yeah, but okay, if you didn't say it, can that point just get dismissed? Like if you just forgot one of your points?
Yeah, if I didn't say it and like it was when you were like trying to get a scanner is when you clearly couldn't hear me. Obviously, you can dismiss it. I don't think I said.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like for what I'm saying right now, where was I? I'm losing my train of thought.
Yeah.
For where we're at right now. Yeah.
He's unlocked. Yeah.
I don't think that it's unexpected for a Yonko commander to not be able to get into like consistent fights because at least consistent fights against like competent people. Not only do you know like Whitebeard has a massive fleet, and typically like if somebody's fodder, you delegate it to the fodder. You don't take like a top tier to deal with the fodder. So that's like a methodology where Ace could not necessarily engage with these people that are contesting Blackbeard.
Damn, how tier
But
was.
also, yo, I'm gonna mute you, bro. Why are you doing this? Okay, but also we know the fact that the Yonko don't typically engage with each other like in all-out wars because it leaves them vulnerable. It's stated multiple times that they have the incentive to not start wars against each other because if they do, then it's mutually assured destruction. And it's also stated the Yonko reign supreme on the seas and they're pretty much uncontested by any competent force. It's not contentious. Their spot has been cemented in history, and they're the top 4 dogs in the sea. And it's been the case for like decades and decades. So at the very least, we have reasons to believe that Blackbeard hasn't gone against like any strong, actually contentious force that could force him to bring out all of his commanders and have those commanders go and fight. And also we know the fact that like even if Whitebeard is fighting against non-competent, uncontentious forces that aren't as strong as him, it wouldn't be expected that he would bring out a commander to meet those forces. You'd probably bring out the fodder that he has like hundreds of, because Whitebeard has a pretty big fucking fleet.
Okay, wait, but in One Piece specifically, do you think that 2 years is enough time to, I guess, make you not used to getting hit or whatever? Like, made it to where the case that, like, if I got hit now in comparison to 2 years ago, it's gonna be like, wait, hold up, let me finish. Like, it's gonna be like this big distinction in terms of endurance or, I guess, physical durability, like whatever you're indexing it to.
Okay, so not necessarily not used to like the general idea of getting it. I think if you're not used to this, like, or sorry, it's been a while since you've gotten hit. Like the sensation of getting hit, it's been a while. Like because you can be used to the feeling of getting hit, and it still have been a while for it, like since you've gotten hit, and that's like something.
Okay, yeah, but I guess I'll just question if there's there at all because I don't know if it's enough
I guess
time
it's like an arbitrary. It's like an okay. So let's like wrap it up. So like obviously we don't know the standard for like every them to get unused to getting hit. I think it would probably be personalized. I don't think there's like one universal standard we can appeal to. It'd probably be relax.
Okay.
I agree. You don't have a standard.
Yeah.
My issue is that my interpretation doesn't stand on like it's not contingent. Like my arguments aren't contingent upon this interpretation being correct. As long as I propose like a reason where I can incorporate all of this information that you're bringing as counter evidence into my hypothesis, and it doesn't necessarily like not follow with my conclusion, then my entire thing would still follow. Like all your counter arguments don't necessarily like contradict mine. And if I think that I have a more parsimonious basis, then we should just follow mine.
Huh? Okay, but I think this is just assumed by your argument. But do you want to give it off then?
What do you mean it's assumed by my argument? What do you mean by that?
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Let me just see.
This scan is something you brought up.
Wait, hold up. Yeah, no, I brought up the scan, and then to try to counter that, you brought up the fact that it hasn't been a while since he got hit. But if it being not a while,
no, it being a while was something you brought up the fact that this is evidence that Ace isn't used to people using hockey in One Piece because it's been a while since he got hit because he's a Logia and nobody has hockey.
Wait, no, that's not what happened.
No, that is what happened.
Wait,
I counteracted that by saying not only do people in the New World typically
hold up, let me see.
But him saying it's been a while can just be indexed to not the fact that people don't have hockey, but just that Ace either scales well at everybody he's fought or hasn't fought people in a while.
Wait, listen. That's not what I said. But do you want to just like wrap it up here because I got to go?
I mean, sure. Do you have any further contentions that you want to bring up, or is that it?
I mean, no, it's good. I already told you I didn't have any time.
Okay, so you don't have enough time to get into the speed scaling, but you obviously agree that at least like based on what we just said so far, if all of my premises follow, then the conclusion that Blackbeard can one tap Luffy and like Luffy has no defenses against Blackbeard's AP is true, right? Obviously.
Yeah. But do you want to finish
that's what the scan says, right?
Okay, hold up. I do agree with that, but do you want to finish the debate later or just conclude it now? Because I gotta go.
We'd probably have to now. Like we can just end the rec, and then anybody who wants to listen to the rec.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna want to restart it, bro. It's like.
Oh, we can just do another topic later.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Like, I don't like picking up the